what's up? Pick Central, September 10th, brought to you by DraftKings. TD, Tutty, taking it to the house, in for 6. Whatever you call a touchdown, one thing's for sure. Touchdowns matter more at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. On the ground, in the air, from special teams or defense, we don't care how they score them, we want to bet on touchdowns. And DraftKings Sportsbook is the number one place to bet on touchdowns. Ready to place your first NFL bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score a touchdown. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your bet today. You have lines on Derrick Henry. I think McCaffrey will be back next week. You can fire in one of those. DraftKings has every game, every score available. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $250 instantly in bonus bets and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. That's bet $5 to get $250 in bonus bets instantly and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PICKCENTRAL. That's code PICKCENTRAL for new customers and get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. All right, let's recap last night.
They put those records up, though. I suck right now. I'm not even hitting baseball. I just suck. Jets didn't look good. It's sad. Just sadness. On the side.
The Jets looked weird last night, I think is the best way to describe it.
Didn't throw enough.
I know, right after I said it, he had just taken the downfield shot, but that was off of a busted play.
Right.
They did not take shots down the field at all. Weird. It was like they almost didn't want to show him anything in the playbook.
And when they did,
very bizarre.
When they did, it looked great.
Yeah. I don't know. Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall looked very talented.
Oh, I thought Garrett Wilson did. I don't think Breece Hall did at all. And I love Breece Hall.
Breece Hall couldn't do a thing on the ground.
Do anything.
You think that was his fault? No. The offensive line was getting dominated.
Yeah, I thought the offensive line actually looked better than years past for the Jets. Maybe I'm just I have PTSD, but I actually thought Breece Hall just had a bad game. I just think the Niners are so good. If anything, that was like a tribute. Look, here's what we know about the Jets, I think. We know the Jets are not in that elite group. They're not with the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Niners, but I think they are good enough to be in that next tier. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's kind of what we're
But heading into last night's game, there was talk of them being in that elite group.
That was no, I don't think so. I think this was like the show me. Do you deserve to be here or not? And they clearly didn't.
Yeah. No, that's accurate.
Yeah,
heading in, I think most people, especially here, picked the Jets to win the AFC East.
I think that can still happen. I think that's a different argument.
They could still win the AFC.
The Niners,
they need some help.
That's the toughest game on the schedule. Now, if we lose on Sunday, I'm panicking.
Maybe it's recency bias with the Patriots, but it just seems like if you win the AFC East, you should be considered in that conversation of being able to win the Super Bowl and therefore elite. Maybe that's changed.
I don't know. I mean, I would say I don't know, maybe I'm like your Eagles, for instance. I put them on that fringe tier, almost great. Maybe it's kind of because they shit the bed last year, but I put the Eagles ahead of the Jets, obviously right now. The Jets need to work to get in that group.
Jets beat the Eagles last year.
They did, yeah, but I just talking from a roster perspective. You guys have Saquon now. You guys just looked so good, and the Jets didn't.
I'd say that the Jets also, because they have the easiest schedule, and they played the 49ers right off the start, they're going to be a very hard team to judge going into the playoffs if they do everything they're supposed to do. Because they probably have maybe an overinflated record, you could say, because of their weak schedule, that when they're how will they match up now later in the season against a team like the 49ers, against a team like the Chiefs, against the top of the line. You know what I'm saying?
The schedule does get tougher as it goes on. So the next four games, the next 4 games are super easy. Honestly, the Jets should win those 4 games. The Jets want to be considered a very good team. They need to win those 4 games.
That defense, though, man.
That D-line.
Yeah.
Wait. What gives?
A lot of holes.
You're supposed to. Them and the Browns are supposed to be top 5 defenses. Even the Giants, I thought was going to be better, and all 3 teams.
Well, the Jets lost 3 major pieces. On that defensive line, or that area. Franklin Myers is gone. Huff is with you guys. We have to go figure it out with Reddick. They have to figure it out
with Reddick, and Sauce Gardner's not on the field.
Oh, I have seen Sauce Gardner and Breece Hall. I am not worried about. I've seen too much good stuff from them to be worried about.
Why was he not on the field?
Said the wind got knocked out of him.
Got it.
And he came back, man. He got a sack yesterday. I'm not worried about him. And Breece Hall did not look good, I don't think, yesterday. But I'm confident he'll be okay. I know. Mike Williams, Invisible Man, wasn't targeted. Did Aaron Rodgers not trust him? Was he not getting open? Or the Niners so good they were able to blanket him? Mike Williams was as helpful in that game as I was.
First game off an ACL tear, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But he's supposed to be like the second wide receiver in that group. And Lazard got a lot of looks, and Garrett Wilson got a lot of looks, and Williams was just gone. Now, is that a problem for the whole season? That I'm concerned about. So because I don't have the same trust I do with those other guys. I don't know. There was a lot to walk away from. I think you said it right, Smitty. You're like, it was a really strange game. I thought it was
very strange,
bizarre.
The Jets didn't really show anything. Could never really get it going on the ground.
Had the ball for 21 minutes.
Yeah, it was a very. I mean, the other thing is too, what they win by, it was 32-19.
32-19, and
a garbage touchdown, and San Francisco settled for how many field goals?
True.
Yeah, and they missed one too.
How many field goals did they settle for?
Moody had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 field goals.
6 field goals. 6 field goals. Dominated. He could have dominated.
The attempt 6.
It really
dominated.
The game could have been 50 to fucking 7.
I actually would say that Shanahan was way too conservative last night.
I kind of agree.
And I think it's going to, people were talking about it, like, it's on those 4th and 1 situations. I know, like, we got in debate about it on the Cape when it's like, you're on like the 30 or 40 yard line. You're kicking that field goal with Moody. It's like you are at your will shoving it down their throats right now. You could extend this drive. You can get a shorter field goal. It's like you're going to get 2 yards. Nothing has happened tonight where you should be saying like, well, we're not going to get 2 yards right now. And then on that, when they're within the goal red zone, like within the 10-yard line, why didn't you go for it there?
I just think they didn't respect like Aaron Rodgers' first game off an Achilles. Honestly, like
I think it was I agree. Like if you're the Niners, just get the points on the board. The other side hasn't proven they can get the points.
Right, but I guess on the other side of things, it's like, okay, if you don't get it on the 30, 40-yard line, what are the Jets going to do?
Right. That's fair.
I will give the Jets credit for this. They are going to be very, very exciting winning the AFC East and heading into the playoffs with Tyrod Taylor as the quarterback.
Well, that's not gonna happen. I think I was.
No, he looked pretty good last night. And
Well, it
he's
was
a serviceable backup.
Garbage time they were put there. I mean, I would say Rodgers was very accurate. I just wish he threw the ball more. Only 3 receivers for the Jets caught passes. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think he doesn't. Maybe I don't want to say he doesn't trust a lot of guys, but he has had issues with wide receivers, right? Where he's rolling his eyes at. I mean,
he has trust issues. You guys.
I'm sorry, 5.
He's got
If you count Allen and Hall, but I don't count Allen because he was playing in Brees Hall. But only 3 receivers caught balls.
Do you think that like these players should start playing in preseason more? Because like someone like Rodgers looked incredibly rusty last night, and like we saw all over week 1. Like quarterbacks are fighting to get to 150 passing yards.
There's always that thing with the injury, man. There's always that thing with the injury.
But if Rodgers is coming off of a year we didn't play, I was thinking the same thing last night, Phil. I'm like, man, I almost feel like the Jets didn't even know what they had with him. Like they were being conservative with their own players.
Yeah, it's not as much as it would have been better for Rodgers, because I think you put Rodgers in any situation, he knows what to do and how to do it. I think it's the offensive line and the receivers and everybody there in game situations getting the reps to react to how Rodgers is doing.
Yeah, I don't argue with that at all.
And they didn't do it.
No, they didn't. So one thing that if you want to be like, all right, Clemmer, like the Jets do stink, and here's why: their coaching staff. And it's like, well, I don't have a lot I can argue with there. Robert Saleh and Nathaniel Hackett have proven now for a year plus change, 2 years for Saleh plus, they can't make adjustments. There were no adjustments made at halftime. Like I thought we'd come out and see like a different team. Oh, they're going to pass a lot more. Not really.
Yeah, they were still coming out like it's all right. We're down 14,
changed.
Handing the ball off. Like
what the fuck are we doing? Like Robert Saleh might just really suck. I know Frances has been on this show, said as much. I don't really defend the guy because I really can't. He hasn't proven anything. But he might. I don't know. Dukes thinks he stinks. Like
who?
Robert Saleh.
Yeah, I think he's a good defensive coach, but I think as a head coach, he's bad.
Like, I can't argue that.
And I don't want to like. I'm actually being. Last night I was being pretty fair about the Jets. I was like, this is going to be a week 1 overreaction. You guys will be fine, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think the defensive line was the biggest miscue last night. I think they'll figure out like the whole Rodgers situation. Great bet last night by the way, Smitty.
2 great bets.
But Saleh, the interesting thing about the Jets is, and I do think that you made this point. If they lose to the Titans, or even if they lose to like a Patriots team, right, like one of those teams. The Jets right now, given that Saleh's in year 3, this season, if it starts, you lose a couple games you shouldn't, can spiral. And I don't think that's a very like hot take, just given the situation that the Jets are in.
So the only thing that will save him is Aaron Rodgers. But
Exactly.
But how long will they have that? Will they have that leash? Like how long will Aaron Rodgers be like, all right, this is my guy? Because the second, to your point, Dukes, the second Aaron Rodgers is like, I don't like this guy anymore, gone.
I'll be honest, man. I took that bet based solely because you loved it so much, Clemmer. Aaron Rodgers under 2.5 yards last night. After watching Aaron Rodgers try to move,
Yeah.
he might not get 2.5 yards the entire year.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's not an overstatement either.
I don't want to take away from the Monday night game at all. There was an attack by a Chicago sports host. His name's Bernstein from Eddie. And I just need to pull this up with Rico on the show, Dave.
I saw this.
Imagine getting that offended when somebody calls you by your legal name. I've never seen anything like it. We need the riders.
Wait, Terry. I just saw that. No,
that guy was an asshole.
Asshole.
Eddie, meanwhile, I'm sure people know, but like even off air, is like the nicest guy in the world. He is such a sweet guy, and to be shitty at him is such a bizarre thing to do. I don't know. I feel
It's very weird.
very weird.
Very weird. I mean,
I guess the guy just hates.
watch it like 10 times. I didn't know what was going on.
guess
Like that's how like
I guess the guy is super politically charged and has his own view of Barstool.
yeah, but Eddie did absolutely nothing wrong.
No.
The name's in the show.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
Just crazy.
It's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah. No. I'm not panicking yet. I have a blog coming out, I think, soon saying exactly that. But if they lose to the Titans, I'm officially in panic mode. I'll get all panicky, but I'm not there yet.
You think it's an overreaction or an underreaction to say that Aaron Rodgers is not a top 10 quarterback in the league?
I don't know yet. They didn't let him throw the ball.
There's 17 games in the NFL. Like each game is very, very, very important. How long can you say you don't know until it's an issue?
5 weeks, 6 weeks.
5, 6?
I don't.
Yeah.
I
I think it's a long. I mean, we buried the Chiefs last year after like 8 weeks.
I wouldn't say we buried them.
Media. We, the media,
they didn't.
definitely had questions.
We definitely not the royal eye, Enrico.
We definitely. I mean, people definitely had questions. We were like, the Chiefs are fucked up right now. They're still we still think they'll be okay, but the Chiefs were fucked up.
I will say nobody thought that the Chiefs would be able to go into, or nobody realistically believed that they'd be able to go into like Baltimore and where else
Right.
they go, Buffalo last
Yeah.
year, or
Yeah.
Cincy and win in the playoffs. So credit to the Chiefs for that.
Chiefs
No,
are a different breed.
But Rico's right. Like
It's a long season. Like you can still.
And also the Niners are really good. So like I said, but
They won without their best player last night.
I really don't.
30 they scored 30. What they score? 30. How many
32.
points?
30,
32, 19. 32 points without their best player. Settled for 6 field goals. That game could have been a 50 bomb.
Purdy looked awesome.
Pretty look at it. Jordan Mason. I mean,
Purdy.
you plug anybody into
system.
that
Yes,
system,
that
and the running
system.
back
I
is
don't
going to
know
score
if he
20
did look
touchdowns.
awesome. So Purdy's first quarter was rough. Once he settled in, he was really good. I'll say this: Purdy though. Purdy never made any mistakes. I guess that Purdy played exactly how he had to play to win, which is all he needs to do. But I wouldn't say he looked awesome.
I think that some of the throws he made, those intermediate range throws through the
Yeah.
zone, were all.
I think the second half he made a couple throws.
He looked
Especially on third
he looked a
downs.
lot better in the second half. That's fair.
I took away from that, like, I would pay, if you're asking me who to pay on the 49ers, like him or CMC, like, because next year that's going to be like a thing. I know McCaffrey has a contract, but like you're looking to maybe offload him. Last night was clearly the tryout for Mason, and Purdy proves like against the Jets defense that was supposed to be
Purdy-
elite coming into this year.
Defensive line is our weakness, but like and some of those holes, they were like 5-lane highways. Like it wasn't even close. Like
Yeah. Go through the list of the running backs in Shanahan's tenure. I mean, Mostert, Jerick McKinnon was putting up numbers with them.
Kevin Coleman.
It goes on and on and on.
Clemmer, are you worried at all that every other team in the AFC East won week 1?
I mean, it's not ideal, but not really. It's week 1. I mean, they have. Look, I give the Patriots a lot of credit. It wasn't like they didn't play a crumb bum team. They went to Cincinnati and beat the Bengals. That's not easy to do. I know week 1 Burrow, all that shit, but like that's a tough opponent. But like, I don't know. No, I'm not. I mean, I wish they all lost, but I'm okay. That's not gonna. It's week 1.
I mean, I think the Bills are really good.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting game Thursday. We get that game that early.
Did you think that in the first half? Playing at home against the Cardinals, Meek?
I still thought that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're streaming that game, right? Because Frank wanted the game.
That's a good game to get early, like to watch, just in general. But you're gonna tell a lot. I mean, we buried the Dolphins already. We're saying the Dolphins can't win the Super Bowl. That's a big test. What did you take away from last night, Ev? We were saying that the Jets didn't show much in the playbook. Not a lot of downfield passes. Rodgers didn't look good running around.
Jets D-line.
Yeah.
Biggest takeaway by far. I mean, the way they just got washed. I was shocked. Truly shocked.
I can't argue it. And I said, they need to go and get Reddick. I know Reddick's not going to fix everything, but he's going to help a lot.
Not in the run.
I think having even a pass rusher, even the guy that's there, is going to help. Like that. Like I was saying right before you walked in, some of those holes were 5-lane highways. Like it was. Like,
that was a shocking part. I mean, anyone could have ran for 100 yards last night. That's not to take away from Mason. He played really well. I mean, he ran hard. He broke tackles. But, I mean, the holes were insane. I mean, that's why it was so shocking the couple of times they didn't go for it on 4th and 1. I'm like, you're getting whatever you want on the ground.
That's what Duke said. They were playing conservative.
It didn't matter, obviously. They won the game handily. But, I mean, they could have scored a couple more times. I was just.
He had 6 field goals.
Got whatever they wanted.
32 points, 6 field goals.
Well, they could have easily scored 40.
Exactly.
50. I mean, Jesus. But,
Also, another startling
no,
stat.
the D-line was the biggest by far. I just was shocked at how poor they looked.
The Jets and Giants have a combined 3-28 record in night primetime games since 2019.
Well, they've both been bad teams.
That's still a startling record, like 3-28.
I don't know.
I mean, the real stat is if you're paying PSLs, there's been how many playoff games in MetLife, home playoff games, since the stadium opened? Do you have any idea?
They hosted a Super Bowl.
That's true.
That one doesn't count.
0.
1.
The
Giants hosted the Falcons in a weird game. They
Early,
won like
right,
19-2 or something like that.
Yeah, because the Jets.
One game. You're forking over PSLs, and they've also lied. They've lied and changed it where they said they weren't going to sell individual tickets, and now they do sell individual tickets. That whole thing is a sham. There should be like literally federal indictments against that.
So the Jets have a the Jets have a primetime game at home, a home opener on Thursday in 2 weeks. They'll win that game. That's against the Patriots. They'll win that game. They don't win that game. Well, they don't win that game. I'm in panic mode. Panic mode. I'm there.
You get one more of those. You get one more of those. The rest of the year, you get one more of those where you look like the inflatable D.
I look like the inflatable guy in front of a car a lot anyway. So you're going to be getting a lot of those.
I know. You get one more. You get one more saying panic.
I got many more. Hopefully I don't have any more. Hopefully.
Are you overlooking the Titans? The Titans have a good defense. Now, granted, Will Levis stinks.
I think the Titans are going to get smashed on next week. I think the Jets take care. They have to. I think the Jets are going to beat the shit out of Titans.
It's so
You're
crazy.
laughing. You don't think so?
No. I'm laughing at myself thinking about like you guys are. I truly believe you guys are a good football team, but it's so crazy to think if you guys lose one or two, if you guys lose one of these games, it could spiral a little.
And don't throw the Titans.
I really believe no. I'm saying Titans or Patriots, two teams that you should beat.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Patriots obviously just had a biggest upset of the week, but the Titans, they didn't let up an offensive touchdown. They're not going to be a walk in the park.
Two frisky teams.
That's why I think the Titans are getting overlooked this week. Not that I think they're some great team, but we're acting like they're just god awful. Like they didn't allow it all. Their defense did not allow a touchdown.
Are the Titans one of the 6 worst teams in the NFL?
They are, but they're not a pushover.
I don't know if they're it's also the NFL that margin between the 6 worst teams.
Yeah.
Who are the worst teams right now?
It's the Panthers and everybody else.
Panthers are their own.
And everybody else. Let's be honest.
Panthers,
Broncos,
Giants, Broncos.
Broncos are going to be in games with.
By the way, the Broncos are the game.
Right now, who are the worst 5?
This is the fewest wins odds.
All right, so Titans are 4.
It's Panthers, Giants, Broncos for sure.
Raiders, I think you could put up there.
I think
I think the Patriots. I put the Patriots ahead of the Cardinals and the Raiders in that list.
Yeah, I know the Patriots got to win, but you still put the Patriots
the Cardinals
in the bottom 5.
I don't agree.
I think the Cardinals are
very
sneaky.
Yeah.
Dude, the offensive.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
The offensive line looked fucking great, and we ran the ball wherever we wanted. And if you're going to tell me, against the Jets, that defensive line last night, that definitely looks acceptable. I'm not saying we're going to beat the Jets by any means, but, the offensive line was our biggest concern.
I don't know. That Panthers bet looks so good right now.
The Packers is sneaky because if Jordan Love has a serious injury coming back,
Yeah,
Malik Willis ain't winning the game.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's also true.
So, yeah. I think the Panthers, like you said, Smitty, I think I might.
I mean, plus
I might have to jump on
350
that.
so nice right now.
They look so bad, and they were so bad last year. It's not like it's a random thing.
Yeah.
They're just bad.
It's almost hard to be like even I was like looking at the line like this week, and I'm like, can they be that bad again? Because in NFL Week 2, like I love like kind of fading the overreaction. Because
Jaguars are going to be a big overreaction this week.
Every team is not as good or as bad as they looked.
That's how it is.
The Panthers might be, man.
The Panthers might be, because last year I feel like I felt the same way, and I kept betting the Panthers like with points, and they had a couple they did cover. But I mean,
who do the Panthers have this week? The Ravens.
Saints and
who do they have this week?
They have who was it?
I'm sorry, not the Saints. I lied.
They have the
Chargers.
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 That's right.
Like 6.5. Like
6.5
at home. Like that's so many points at home to a Chargers team that wants to go slow. Don't have these big weapons. They can run the ball.
Yeah, but they're so well coached, and the Panthers.
They're better coached. I also Derek Brown, who's like a very good D tackle for the Panthers, is out.
And they don't have the talent to overcome their just overall deficiencies.
They
don't.
They invested a lot of money in the offensive line. Bryce Young might just be that bad.
I'm gonna blindly bet.
Might be.
I'm gonna blindly bet.
Doesn't have much.
But now that they have Deontay Johnson, they have Thielen.
Thielen isn't the Thielen that was scoring 15 touchdowns with the Vikings.
He's something. They had a good rapport last year.
He's something, but he's not Justin Jefferson.
Well, no, I didn't say he was.
He's over the hill. I would say. I think it's fair to say Thielen.
He's over the hill on the way down.
Over the hill on the way down.
They've invested in some of these guys. They should invest in.
And I love Thielen.
Not a shot at you, Clemmer. He's who you thought Cooper Kupp might be.
No, it's not true. That's not true.
He's washed.
My issue with Cooper Kupp is he just can't in the field. But he obviously looked great week 1.
Okay.
I'm going to blindly bet the Panthers against the Panthers unless that spread is 10 or more every week, except for the week they play the Giants. I just think they're that bad, unless I see something different.
I mean, this is a big game for them. Like, if you go after that performance, if you at home get like beat by more than a touchdown.
The Chargers, like we saw, now are going to be this like efficiently well coached team. Are they going to be great? No, but they're going to do all the little things right. Like,
and they'll win by 6 points and ruin your bet.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly what's going to
I
happen.
already see that coming.
Yeah.
I'm still on the Chargers 6.5. But
even the Raiders game, like I think they more like just shit that game. I was pussy that game away. Then they just like got beat.
But the Raiders and Panthers, I think, are on 2 different levels of talent.
I don't know if they are on 2 different levels. I don't know. I mean, the Raiders.
I think the Panthers
like
are that
good.
bad. I think the Panthers are horrific.
We'll see.
We'll see. They were also just so bad last year. I mean, it's not like they were.
It's just hard for.
Well, mark my words. The Panthers will steal a game in that division in the NFC South.
Maybe
it's hard for them.
They have to.
They still won last year.
That's how it is.
They still suck.
NFC South, and none of those teams want to win that.
They won one game in the division last year.
Who wants to lose it the least?
Well, they did beat the Texans last year.
And they beat the
Falcons.
Falcons.
Sit here, I'm just like, they just can't be that bad, can they? Can they just be that like?
Why?
It's the fucking NFL. Like it's so rare that one team is just truly like that bad.
Have you watched the Jets over the last 30 years?
I'm saying like just not yeah, but you just brought up a team from 10 years ago, the Browns.
I guess.
Literally a decade.
Yeah,
well, the Panthers were in the Super Bowl a decade ago.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, I'm just saying that my point was it's rare to have a team that's just truly, like, so just not competitive. You tell me, like, you're
talking about the Giants right now, too.
The Panthers weren't competitive last year. Like, I don't know.
They should be better than last year. They signed better players. I mean, they should have more. They have more talent.
They didn't have
It's just hard for me to sit here and be like they're going to go like 2-15 against the spread. Like that just doesn't happen.
Maybe not that. But,
maybe not against a spread.
But 2-15 total, I think, is on.
But winning games, like the Chargers.
I'm talking spreads here. Like,
that's a little different. I mean, I don't know what the spreads. Like I said, if the spreads are hitting 10, 11, 12, then I'm backing off. But even 6.5 this week.
Like even catching 6.5 at home to like an average at best team is just like it's. Listen, they might go get Boers. Then maybe they're that bad. It's just like my mental. I just philosophically betting the NFL. It's like this team is. They can't be that bad. Maybe they are. I don't know.
If the Chargers weren't so well coached, I would think it's a letdown game.
But I like Cornales. I mean, I don't know what he's going to be as a head coach, but he's been an incredible coordinator and like quarterbacks guy. So I mean,
it'd be a no-win
we'll
situation.
We'll see if maybe there's some improvement with Bryce Young throughout the season.
That's my take.
He's been incredible. He's like every quarterback that's played for him has had the best year they ever had with him.
I think that's going to be Bryce Young's worst week. I do not think that it could get worse than that.
He just looked bad. Like I tried to stick up for him sometime last year and just be like, let's give him another chance. Like he was in the worst circumstances ever, but
I mean, but
he might just stink.
He might, but if you're going like if you Canales just comes in, I'm not going to like judge Bryce Young with Canales just based off 1 week.
Well, no, that's what I'm trying to sell myself.
Right, like I
give him another shot with the points.
I think it's like going to be some sneaky spreads. I'm not saying that they're going to win the fucking Super Bowl. They might have the number 1 pick next year.
Yeah.
I'm looking for them to cover the number.
I hear you guys tying the Giants to the Panthers. The Giants are only 1.5 point underdogs, facing a kind of a similar team, right? The Commanders and Chargers are kind of similar.
I think the Chargers are.
I think the Chargers are in a way better spot.
You think they're way better?
Yeah.
The Commanders are not a good football
They don't have a
team.
young quarterback.
All right.
I think their defense
I have the Chargers above, but not
better.
I don't even think it's close. The
much.
Chargers.
Okay.
Chargers are in the mix for the playoffs.
Yeah,
I don't see that.
the Commanders.
I do.
The Commanders are going to suffer from Ron Rivera for
I do.
another year.
You think the Chargers mix in the AFC or in the mix for the playoffs? No.
That's the classic, like a week 1, I think, an overreaction. Like now all of a sudden they're a playoff team?
They're not.
They beat the Raiders at home?
We said it yesterday.
They have Herbert. They were always going to be.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise anybody if they snuck into the last playoff spot.
Chargers
They're not
surprised
winning
the
the
hell out of me.
West.
Chargers have Herbert. They were always going to be in the mix for the playoffs. You think that's an overreaction?
Made
We're
the
in the mix last
playoffs
year.
1 year he's been there. And they blew a 27 point.
But they're always in the mix for the playoffs.
Not really.
No. Bills.
They
were
always
awful
kind of.
last
They're always like
Dolphins, Jets.
500.
They're always right there.
Last year,
I mean, I
maybe.
guess
They haven't
like,
bottomed out.
I guess like they've been.
I don't think it's a crazy statement to say you have Herbert and you have Harbaugh. They're in the mix for the playoffs.
I'm
That's
not
an
saying
expectation.
they can't make the playoffs, but I feel like the narrative on them in 1 week is now like that was not the narrative.
Well, I just group it as the haves and have-nots in the AFC, and like if you have a really good quarterback, I put you in the playoff mix.
I guess. I mean,
Like I don't love the Colts, but I'm leaning towards putting the Colts in the mix.
I don't think they're going to go 5-12, but I mean, I just
Colts
Yeah.
are for sure in
I
the
just feel like
mix.
they all
Yeah.
of a sudden
For
are.
sure.
Like almost everyone is in the mix.
I don't
in
know
the
if I put
AFC.
the Colts in the mix.
Why?
I put the Colts in the mix for the Chargers. I just think the AFC is so heavy.
The Colts last year almost made the playoffs with their backup
because
quarterback.
all the quarterbacks got hurt.
I think they made the playoffs because they have a phenomenal head coach that I think
love
might
their
win
head coach.
coach of the year, if not
They
this year, but like
they were
soon.
fortunate with like Burrow gets hurt, Lawrence gets hurt,
Rodgers gets hurt.
Rodgers gets hurt. Like there definitely was some
Yeah.
bounces for like the mid-tier AFC teams because of that.
I look. Last year, I said the AFC was so stacked, and look what happened. A lot of the quarterbacks got hurt, and there was people did kind of drop down. So you're right. Some of the Colts were in the mix last year for sure. But I just
Well, they arguably should have beat the Texans this week
Right.
at home.
I mean, they were.
Would it surprise you to have that game won if they ended up on top?
I would have been surprised.
I would have been a little. I mean, not like it was a 3-point spread. I would
Yeah.
have been like shocked, but they're at home.
But even given them that 3-point spread,
I mean, they scored late to like make it from like 9 to 2. Like it was a 2-score game.
Right.
Like late in the fourth quarter, mid fourth quarter.
The game wasn't really in doubt.
Yeah, the Texans had the game like they were in control of the game. Also, it's just crazy. No one's really talking about it. I said this yesterday. Anthony Richardson completed 9 passes. How crazy that you see that after? Because
Really?
he had one of the best throws I've ever seen in my life.
9 passes.
9 for 19. But he had a 6.
that is kind of
He had a 60-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
He had a 54-yarder. So he had 114 yards on 2
Right
passes.
there, yeah.
He had 212 for the game total.
And he had over half it on 2 passes.
Interesting.
But he's a playmaker. He ran for a touchdown. I mean, he's unbelievable to watch. I just don't think he's sustainable the way he plays.
56 rushing yards for Richardson.
Yeah, like and the touchdown he ran, he
ran over 4 people.
ran over like 3 guys.
Yeah.
and barreled his way in the end zone.
It was a 4th down play. It was good.
It was an incredible run, but I mean,
Or 3rd
he's
down.
so fun to watch. But I just don't see how he doesn't miss like half the season playing like that every year.
I'm not crossing the Colts or Chargers completely off like in pen, but they're just not on my list of teams I see in the playoffs right now. If that makes any sense?
They're a team. See, they're a team I consider like in the mix.
Yeah, in the mix. It's the best way to describe it.
Okay.
Let's
If he gets hurt, and I kind of think he will, so I almost feel like he's not in the mix because
Right.
I'm just like afraid, like he's gonna go down, and I don't think Flacco's catching like Magic 2.0 with this team. Yeah, I don't know.
Clock struck midnight.
Yeah.
let's switch gears to college. We didn't touch on college yesterday. We'll do a little stock market, stock up or stock down. You can bet, like pick a team, whether you think it's, They're moving. People are saying they're down. You're going to say they're up. Whatever it is, like it's kind of stock market Tuesday. Where is a team? Where's your stock in a team?
Yeah, like buy and sell.
Buy and sell, pretty much. Buy and sell on a Tuesday. Ev, stock up or stock down? Anybody across the nation?
The team that I was high on throughout the year, and they had a really big like come from behind win that my stock is up on, is Iowa State. They had a really tough first half. Iowa's a very good defense. They went into Iowa. What the adjustments they made in the second half was why I think Matt Campbell's a very good coach. Rocco Beck's a very good quarterback. They have weapons. Noel's a good weapon. I think his name is like Hoggins or whatever his name is. It ends with like a Gins. Other good receiver. Very good. And the defense is also really, really good. I think they found something in that second half. They had some big plays. Defense played really well. To go like beat Iowa like that on the road. They even missed a couple field goals too. I know they missed one in the first half. But
it was so perfect when they cut the lead from 5-2.
Yeah,
or whatever it was.
They were down 19-7.
It's a field goal. It's the worst. That spread, betting the spread in that game will make you go fucking insane.
Had an unbelievable drive to get them in field goal range to win the game by Rocco Beck. Handled it perfectly. The play calling was great. He made great throws. All the right decisions. Iowa State I'm high on. Like I picked them before the year that I really think they could make the Big 12 championship game, and I stand on that.
Smitty.
If you want to talk about overall stock of a program, Lincoln Riley with defense now, I mean, just the fact that he can get average defense after historically shit D year in and year out that cost him numerous amount of games. If he can get average defense, this program is going to win a national championship at some point sooner than later because he'll get his quarterback back. He'll get his offense the way it has been throughout his history at Oklahoma through when he had Caleb Williams. So it might not be this. Actually, it's not going to be this year. They're not going to win the Big Ten this year. But if you're talking overall, I think USC in the next couple of years.
They have a quarterback right now. Miller Moss is legit. I think he's legit as fuck. They tackle so much better. The coordinator they brought from UCLA is he really he had UCLA night and day last year. This year you saw it already in the LSU game. I don't know about national title, but I agree with the stock up for sure because I think they're a team that people thought might have been the sixth team in the Big Ten. There's a chance they might be top 3. We'll see.
Penn State was losing to Bowling Green at halftime this week.
Penn State's been weird. They come out against West Virginia. They look like world beaters. Drew Aller looked incredible. Yeah, then they're in a legit nail biter basically with Bowling Green. They're shaky. But yeah, USC they go to Michigan. I think it's in 2 weeks. That's a fascinating game to me. I know Michigan looked really bad. Texas, another team like Stock. Texas has looked incredible. They look like a legit national title contender. But if USC goes into Michigan and beats them, they're legit.
If Ohio State was playing USC this week in USC, would you be scared?
Scared. I don't know about scared. I mean, I would be I wouldn't be oh, we're gonna waltz in there, even though I think it's possible. But no, I wouldn't be scared. Scared strong.
Would you think USC is live? What would the spread be? The spread would probably be what?
Touchdown?
Yeah.
Probably a touchdown.
Maybe a little more, 10?
In Southern Cal, yeah, it could be more, to be honest. No, but I'd feel pretty good about it. I think we're still would just be too physical.
Fair enough.
We're a different level of physicality than they are right now, but they're much more physical than they were last year. And they're explosive on offense, so they definitely could score.
I'm gonna step out. I got called from the bullpen. I got to call into that Eddie show in Chicago. I got the top guy told me to call in. So
go get him.
I'm gonna step out on that. But I'm gonna give you Nebraska if you want to chew on that. Stop.
Yeah.
Nebraska, big time win. And now you're staring at the schedule of Northern Illinois at Purdue, Rutgers at Indiana, and then you're potentially hosting game day against Ohio State.
Yeah, no, they have
Nebraska is for real.
They have a very
now Nebraska's going to do something dumb and lose one of those games, maybe 2 of those games, because that's just what they do. It might be a little bit different now.
But this Matt Rule effect, man, he comes into Temple. I mean, granted, Temple had Steve Adazio. They had a couple guys before. They had Al Golden, I believe, who kind of rebuilt the program. But Matt Rule's the one who took Temple to the national stage and had him competing for a playoff berth against Notre Dame. You see what happened to Temple since then. He goes to Baylor.
What he did at Baylor was almost more impressive. They were
it is more impressive.
After the Brile shit,
they were done.
Dead.
And
he just brought them back like that to the Big 12 championship game.
And then he goes to the NFL, which, doesn't work out. And then now he's back at Nebraska. So if he is there long term,
I think he will be.
Like, you could put him up against Tom Osborne eventually.
Because he's got his quarterback. He's got a like 5-star freshman, like true freshman quarterback who, to me, looks the part, has played really well. He looked good against Colorado. They didn't do a lot in the second half, but they just had the game so in hand. And I think the difference between this year's team and last year's team is for Nebraska is the quarterback. And they still have the good defense, but they have legit weapons now. They have speed that they didn't have last year. I think Rutgers is the game that I could see tripping them up because I think Rutgers is a sneaky game. I think that game might be in Jersey as well. Sneaky, tough, competitive team. Any Shiano team, like hard-nosed, good defense. They're going to run the ball. I can see it being a low-scoring game.
Most speed since Will Compton.
They could absolutely be 7-0 heading to Columbus.
Smitty, you said Matt Rule didn't work out in Carolina, and you're right, it didn't. But knowing what we know now, maybe no one could work there. Like, maybe the ownership is so bad, it's such a horrible, toxic situation. Maybe no one could succeed there. That might not be on Matt Rule. Ev, who's your stock down?
I mean, I think it's easy to say Notre Dame, so I'll just say that. I mean, they have this really good performance. They go to A&M week 1. They win. The defense looks great. Then they lay a fucking egg as 28-point favorites. They lose to NIU. It's hard for them not to be like, they're just like the clear, obvious pick. I mean, I went back and forth with people. I think their season is just over. You can't come back from losing to NIU at home. Yeah, they have to be it. I mean, they're a team that after that A&M win, they're thinking like playoff. They're thinking like national title contenders, and then they do that. I mean, they're a joke. Notre Dame's a joke.
Yeah, I'm selling all my Riley Leonard stock.
Yeah, he was someone I was high on at Duke. Like I saw even at Duke when he got hurt, the team was so much worse. So I'm like, this guy, like he's very valuable to the team. They win with him, they lose without him. He has not looked good at all.
It's a stock that I would buy if just going off quarterbacks, I guess. Sluka UNLV. I think UNLV.
Sluka Doncic?
Yeah, I'm so fucking high on. I think they could be the G5 team in the playoff. The other one is Calandria from Virginia.
Anthony.
He's just a gunslinger.
He's fun.
And he's got talent. Decision making sometimes questionable, but he can sling it. He's fun.
No one has more faith in his arm than Anthony Calandria.
Yeah, exactly.
Smitty, do you have a stock down?
It wouldn't necessarily be a stock down, maybe a stock plateau, because they're the same shit year in and year out, and the fan base, in which I'm not a part of and I actually dislike, they deserve a lot better at this point, and that's Penn State. There's no reason why Penn State shouldn't be competing for a national title every single year. You saw Michigan finally come back and do it last year. You see all these other teams, Ohio State, everybody at LSU, like everybody who is big-time college football should have Penn State as 1, 2, 3 every single year. And since James Franklin has come over, he has been all talk about it, no be about it. You cannot be trailing Bowling Green at halftime at home at any point if you want to be a national contender. And it's the same fucking shit every year from James Franklin. They will never win a title with him. So stock plateau.
It's so weird because like when he took over, they were bad. So like he's been there such a long time, where like when they took over, they were bad. Then they have the game against Ohio State was kind of the game that put them back on the map. They win the Big Ten that year with 2, even though they had 2 losses. But no, they're in this weird spot where I thought after that West Virginia game, like maybe this was the year that they like Drew Aller looked so good. They go smash West Virginia, who a lot of people had high hopes for this year. But it's funny because Bowling Green's like they're a team. They're like one of the favorites to win the MAC. They're like a very good MAC team. But again, it's a MAC team. That's a team that if you're Penn State, you have to go handle them.
It's a team that if you're favored by like 28, you should probably not be trailing at halftime. I hope.
I think Bowling Green's sneaky. Like I know you just said it with the MAC. I bet Fordham against Bowling Green, and Fordham was able to move the ball in the second half against them. I didn't think Bowling Green. I thought they could play with Bowling Green. What I got out of that game was Bowling Green was sneaky good.
They are.
And I know that Fordham and Penn State are 2 different levels, but it was such a letdown spot for Penn State that I'm just down on Drew Aller.
But is it a letdown after West Virginia?
A little bit.
Like I don't know.
Is that like I feel like it's sneaky a rivalry game.
I mean, it is a little bit, but I just don't like. I don't know. The rivalry is more West Virginia like Pitt than it is
100% backyard brawl. But like going from a West Virginia game week 1 to then playing a MAC team, Bowling Green. If you're a Penn State guy in that locker room, you're like, this team's a joke. I don't care if they're favorites for the MAC. I don't know. It's just, in general, when you're going from a West Virginia to a MAC team, I could see that being a letdown spot. Obviously, it's not a top 25 team, but.
Yeah, I just think I agree with Smitty more. Even like Bowling Green is a good MAC team, and they might win the MAC, but like you just can't, if you're like a true national title contender, like you can't be losing to.
Is it more
Bowling
Penn State
Green.
or Drew Aller?
I think it's both. I mean, Drew. I don't think we're putting that game on just Drew. I mean, they couldn't stop him from scoring early.
Right.
Dude, Penn State does this every year.
The defense.
Every single year, they're dropping. I mean, they didn't lose, but they will drop a game this year, like a Maryland at home, in which they lost a couple of years ago, in which they had no business.
I actually think it's different with Franklin. I think Franklin wins all the games he's supposed to and loses the big ones. And I don't like Franklin.
I was like, because Maryland's the team he always like. They always.
That's what I was gonna say.
Maryland has a little bit of expectation, and then they shit pump Maryland, but then they lose. They always cause they lose to Ohio State, lose to Michigan. So it's kind of like, is this the year? Can they like win one of those games? I think they'll beat Michigan this year, or like can they? I think I can't remember if they play Oregon or not this year. I think they might, but like it's just because everyone kind of made the joke of the 12-team playoff was like made for them.
That true.
You can go 10-2. You can win. You can lose to Ohio State and lose to Michigan or lose to like Oregon for something like that, and then make the playoff.
So Rico, Ev was down on
Notre Dame,
and
That's easy.
And Smitty was down on Penn State. Who's your stock down?
I'd be down on Oregon right now based off what I've seen. They're a national title contender. I picked them to win the national title. The Wyoming game or Idaho game was weird. They didn't show them much. Well, they're getting a lot of yards. They couldn't really get it done in the red zone. And then the Boise game, they needed two returns.
Yeah, I mean, they almost got beat by Boise at home.
Yeah, 19-point favorite. That line was a stinker. I should have taken Boise. But they needed two big plays. One, they got lucky. They fumbled, and the guy picks it up going into the end zone. I don't know. Oregon, not a lot of tests on their schedule, but they better get it together here before Columbus Day weekend or October 12th, whenever that game is against Ohio State.
It's the 12th.
Yeah, I'm down on
It's
Oregon.
in Eugene. Bosco, this week, they go to Corvallis this week.
I know, against an Oregon State
not
team.
like an easy that's not that rivalry game. That's not an easy game. That was one of the lines when I was doing like first like just circling the lines that I liked, just my initial like knee jerk read. I could have circled Oregon State plus 6.5 faster. I don't know if I'll be there for sure. I want to like dive deeper into it, but just when I saw that right away, I was like, Oregon, go beat it. I mean, they couldn't beat Idaho by 17.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. So
Brad gave him out last week too. They were different. What did he liked about him? I listened to it in pieces. Now I'm remembering. Can't recall it.
That he liked Oregon.
That he liked. I liked Oregon State.
That was his pick of the week
last week. I know. They're smash mouth now, right?
I think they won 21-0. Was it?
Yeah. I watched that game.
I didn't know they. I mean, they ran it. They jammed it down San Diego State's throat.
So we talked,
and we just saw Boy. Listen, and Genty's special. Like Genty's legit. Like maybe the best running back in the country. He's unbelievable. Like he's probably gonna be a first round pick in the draft. Very very likely. So I want to take it a little bit with like a grain of salt that they got ran over by like maybe like a next like strong NFL running back, but still to go just ran all over the way they did. Boise puts up almost 40 on you at home. I don't see why Oregon State can't keep it close.
We talked Notre Dame. We talked a little bit yesterday about Michigan. What are the other takeaways from week 2 that you guys saw in college football? Like, what are the things that a casual like me should really be aware of?
I think Texas is elite. Like elite. Tennessee is legit. Like might be like true title contender. I think Tennessee's a playoff team, like for sure, in my opinion.
We're in a fun little spot. Sorry, Ev. We're in a fun little spot where like we could have 3 playoff teams in the back category: Tennessee, Texas, and Miami.
Yeah, no, Miami.
Now Texas made the playoff last year, but
Texas was like already back, but they
Texas
might be like
sustaining back, and also USC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe they make their first playoff out there.
BC.
Yeah, a lot of teams back. Yeah, BC's ranked, bro.
BC's in the only ranked matchup this weekend.
Yeah, I know, against Mizzou.
I kind of like them catching the points.
16.5.
Because I think the way they're going to want to play Mizzou, they're going to slow that fucking game down. If they can have any success with Castellanos and Ward running the ball, I think they can keep that within 16.5. That was the other one. It was Oregon State and that one. They both are catching 16.5. And I'm like, it's scary because maybe like their offense is just too good for Boston College to handle. That'd be my concern. Because Brady Cooks, Luther Burden's unbelievable. He's like a top 10 pick receiver. So Mizzou's offense, like maybe they go out there and just have a ton of success and they just blow them
Mizzou
out.
kind of started a little slow against whoever the hell they were playing last week.
Buffalo.
Yep.
They played 2 like cupcakes,
Yep.
and now they have Boston College at home. I could see Billy O'Brien dialing up a game plan.
I think that first off, Billy O'Brien is a good football coach. Just like newsflash, he always has been. Horrible NFL GM, great football coach. What he did even at like Penn State after the allegations, he turned it around. He turned it around fast. BC was hitting. I know it was Florida State and like what you know about Florida State. That's still a good ACC team. Maybe not this year, but like those are power guys, and they were hitting the fuck out of them.
Yeah, they smacked them.
And I thought just the way they were hitting on defense. 16.5 seems like a lot. I think everyone's going to be on them, but I'm going to take them till the wheels fall off. I love Castellanos, obviously. I think that they could run wild.
This seems like a uniquely bad spread. I mean, bad slate, of games.
Well,
is that an overreaction?
Yeah, it's a bad slate, but I'll counter. Friday night is awesome.
Yeah.
Friday night is UNLV, Kansas, and Arizona, Kansas State.
Yeah. Okay.
So normally,
And I know, is it Thursday? That's Arizona State, Texas State.
Arizona, Texas State is a good one Thursday.
Game. Texas State's legit one of the best G5.
That's a weird line too. Real weird line.
It's 1.5.
Yeah, something like that.
Might be on Texas State there.
Line screams
on
Texas
Friday.
State.
I already I locked in this morning. Arizona.
Yep. I don't like the way Kansas State's been playing. I don't like the way Johnson's been throwing the ball.
Arizona also. I mean, Arizona has not looked good either. They've had 2 kind of closest games with very lower end teams, but they don't defend the pass well. Kansas State, they haven't.
Oh.
And I mean, the one thing that Arizona can do, they can throw. They have Fafita, who's a great quarterback, and they have McMillan, who's a first round receiver. Really, he had 300 fucking yards in the first game. It was unbelievable. So I think that combo alone is going to give them a ton of problems.
I think that game might go over as well. But that's a great doubleheader.
Because I locked in. I saw 7 in the hook. I locked in. I was I saw some other shots. It was going up to 7 or 7.5, minus 125 and all that. I was give me locked on the 7.5 on DraftKings.
Yeah, it's a good one. That's a good slate Friday. Who's your stock up, stock down?
I just have one more college football question for you guys.
Sure.
One game that kind of jumped out to me, is LSU and South Carolina. Now, I'm looking at that. I'm LSU is 16th ranked. That
game day in town.
So it's only a 7-point spread. Why are people so high on South Carolina? Maybe help me out with that.
They're the ultimate Jekyll and Hyde week 1 and week 2. Week 1 they were so bad. They were so lucky to beat Georgia Southern. So lucky.
Okay.
And I took the bait. I jumped on Kentucky -9. They smacked Kentucky. Beat the shit out of
Was it South Carolina versus Old Dominion or Georgia Southern?
I'm sorry, you're right. Old Dominion.
Old Dominion.
My apologies, Old Dominion. But yeah, should have lost Old Dominion. Got very lucky. They have a freshman pass rusher, true freshman Dylan Stewart, who's the next their next Clowney. He's even just watching his tape, he's not as physically big. His bend on the edge is insane. Just super athletic, a freak. Legitimately maybe the best pass rusher in college football today. He's 18 years old.
Clowney's still in the league?
Yes.
He was a free agent for a while, wasn't he?
Is he on the Dolphins?
I don't know.
Or was that last year?
He might not be in the league anymore. I know he was a free agent for a while. I don't think he is in the league. I think he was last year, right?
I mean, what a college freak athlete.
Yeah,
oh my God.
He's on the Panthers.
Oh,
on the Panthers. Checks out.
You got to give it up. You want to play for the Panthers?
Last year.
You got to give it up. It's not worth the check.
Yeah, that line was weird to me too. I saw it and I was oh man, I don't know what to. Because LSU is talented. They have guys I think Nussmeier's a good quarterback. I really do. And Lacey's a good receiver. They got a couple good receivers. I don't know what they're. I don't know. LSU's a team I don't know how to really feel about them either. Because they got Nichols scored quite a bit on them last week. I don't know. Just a weird.
Yeah, but they don't give a shit.
I know, but just a weird game. It's just kind of a weird game. I don't know what to think about South Carolina either. Like I said, they look really bad, then really good. I don't. It's a puzzling game. It was when I looked at it, I was oh man, I don't know.
Ask Brad about it.
My knee jerk was South Carolina, but I don't know if I'm gonna bet on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your stock up?
Stock up is the New York Yankees. Unfortunately, I think getting Jason Dominguez, they just called him up yesterday or 2 days ago. He completely changes that lineup. Now they have this added piece of this major hitter to protect Judge, protect Soto, kind of drive some of those guys in. I just think he makes that lineup so much more three-dimensional. And the Orioles are starting to struggle a little bit with that starting pitching starting to fade away. And I think the Yankees are really putting themselves in a great spot. My stock down is the Minnesota Twins. Wheels are kind of falling off. You have 3 teams, the Red Sox, the Tigers, and the Mariners, all within 3 games of wild card. Are they going to catch them? I don't know. Probably not. 3 games is a lot this late. But the Mariners are, I think, more talented than the Twins. And the Twins are doing themselves no favors. They lost yesterday as my pick of the day. Didn't work out. But Reed Detmers shut them down. And Reed Detmers has been horrible all year. Like the Twins have some major issues they got to work out.
You think the Mets are going to make the playoffs?
Probably.
I give them credit. They're a tough fucking team.
They battle, man.
I mean, they're staring at the 1 right now. They're a game and a half out of the 1 in the wild card.
It's all going to come down to those 7 games against the Phillies, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
You just got to tread water. You got to go 3 and 4.
Meek asked if he thinks the Mets are going to win the East.
The East? No.
That's what he asked me.
I did not ask that.
You asked me if I was scared because I
said,
think the Mets are winning the East.
That happens once in a lifetime, and the Mets already blew it. The Phillies don't blow
That's
that.
just not going to happen.
I said, are you like?
I say give the season 2 more weeks, though, and depending on how we do against you, it's spot.
I don't know. I don't think you have enough.
Yeah.
The Mets are playing. The players are playing so far above. Peterson's 9-1.
14-3 in the starts.
Like,
Yeah, and he,
good for him.
and dominant.
Good for him. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. Lindor deserves the NL MVP this year. He does. By my definition of MVP.
He's been the most valuable player on
I understand the
Yes.
argument a lot because like
My definition of MVP
Also, he
was
plays
most
the field.
valuable to your team. I think Lindor is more valuable to the Mets and getting them to the playoffs than Ohtani is improving the Dodgers.
Dodgers are only like you think the Dodgers would be up 6 games? Like Dodgers have like a 6-game window, and they wouldn't be in the playoffs. Ohtani's going to be 50-50, but he doesn't play defense, and Lindor does. So
I know he's so good though.
I know
50-50 is so absurd.
so crazy. But I don't know. I honestly I know this is like kind of lame, but I see both sides. I really do. Like
They kind of just need to create, call it the Ohtani, and just give it to him every year, and then when he retires, I guess
He has a show
just like
full
give
of
it one
Ohtani.
every 10 years. Whoever wins a Triple Crown gets the Ohtani.
It's called
or
the
some
Hank
shit.
Aaron Award.
yeah, it is. Nobody cares about it, but that's why they created it. You're
Really?
exactly right. Yeah,
That's crazy.
It goes to the best hitter in each league, and they made a big deal about it, and no one gives a fuck.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine how good of a hitter Lindor could be if he could only focus on hitting and he wasn't playing the field every 9 innings.
And Lindor, to his credit too,
got a
plays
great glove.
every fucking day. He's there every single day at shortstop, which is unheard of in modern baseball.
The
Minus
only-
165 to make playoffs.
Yeah.
That's crazy in itself that you guys are minus money to make the playoffs.
Or we're game up.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Love it.
Are you nervous
About the Phillies losing the division?
to play the Mets if they make the playoffs?
No.
It'd take a lot for us to play them.
Is there any
It
team that
would.
would make you nervous going head to head?
Yes. The Dodgers, obviously, the Braves, the Phillies.
The Braves more than the Mets?
The Braves are the least. I'm scared to play the Braves in the regular season, but not scared to play them in the playoffs. If that makes
Fair
sense.
take.
So the Diamondbacks for sure
Yeah.
after what happened last year. But other than that, the Brewers I should be just because they don't they keep winning.
They do.
I'm not sure how, but they do.
Great
So
bullpen, I guess.
I don't know how it's going to translate into the playoffs with them. But it's a playoffs. I'm going to be nervous to play anybody. Anybody can be anybody,
How
especially in
about how
baseball.
you feel about the Padres? They left them out.
No, I'm not scared of the Padres whatsoever.
I completely disagree. The Padres scare me more head to head than the Dodgers do.
The Padres on paper, maybe, but I've seen the Padres shit themselves.
I don't-
A la Braves consistently at Citizens Bank Park in the playoffs. I don't think they can handle it.
I don't think the Dodgers have the starting pitching
That's also true.
because Yamamoto, we haven't seen him in a playoff environment, and he's been out for 2 months. Kershaw, if he comes back, we've already seen him. Like, what does he have left in the tank? Is Jack Flaherty like the ace? Like,
The Phillies are by far the most talented team in the National League right now. On paper.
I agree. I'm just saying, in a playoff series, the Padres scare me a million times more than the Dodgers.
The one thing with the Mets, yes, Lindor, yes, everybody's kind of out kicking their coverage with their ability right now. Do you think they have the starting pitching to go 1, 2, 3 against
have
a
the
team
aces.
like the Phillies? Like, I just don't think
They don't
so.
have the names, but if you look at what the guys have been doing, like Peterson's like sub-3 ERA. Sean Manaea, for over the last 3 months, his ERA is a sub-3.
He's been fantastic. I mean, Severino's been good, but
okay, and Dallas Braden pitched a perfect game.
No, that's not. That's not.
But this is a longer stretch.
That's not fair. Now I will say you put Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola.
No offense, I love Dallas. No offense
against Sean Manaea. Obviously, I'm gonna. The Phillies have a huge advantage here. But this isn't just a one game. Don't bring up Philip Humber. This isn't a one game shot here. This is a legitimate. They've been legitimately good. Manaea's been legitimately good for a while now. He's a good pitcher. He's just not great.
yeah. And in the playoffs, you need lockdown, pure nuts on the fucking mound dudes who shut teams down. That's how you win World Series.
Zero argument here.
I agree. Sean Manaea's a different pitcher than what he was the last time you saw him face the Phillies.
Yeah, and in a one-game circumstance in a vacuum, of course, Sean Manaea can beat Zach Wheeler in a playoff game. But
who do I think
I don't
is gonna win
see.
that yeah.
If you're telling me what I'm going to bet that game, I'm fucking hammering the Phillies.
Zach Wheeler is way more talented than those guys. That's just a fact. I guess that's not even up for debate. But can the Mets somehow string together some wins in a short series? Yeah, I guess. Sure.
Oh, the Mets would be very live in a 3-game series against who would they play first round now? Brewers?
It could be Brewers. It could be Padres. It could be D-backs.
I mean, and also we have a lockdown closer. A lot of teams don't have that.
Right.
I'm high on Diaz, man. He's been red hot.
I as high as I am on Diaz, he is prone to that big meltdown.
I'll ride with him.
Yeah, and you guys have the best Brewers, Rockies, Mets fan in the world.
And Guardians too, right?
And Guardians.
Yes.
We cover all our bases.
Rockies need to win 6 more.
Six more?
6 out of 18. I mean,
that's very doable.
Very doable.
Very doable. And they're still playing hard, and they're still playing healthy. Brenton Doyle, they got some guys out there, man.
You're telling me.
The world needs a Phillies-Yankees World
Bryce
Series.
Harper has not homered since August 9th.
Yeah, it's bad.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Let's.
He is looking healthier though, if that makes a difference.
2 tidbits that you should to end the show. Saw a thing. Baker Mayfield, since coming to the Bucks, 3rd most passing touchdowns in the league.
Okay.
Wow.
Really good.
All right.
Has more than Allen, Lamar, whatever.
Hat tip Marty Mush.
Browns
Is that it?
Browns got a little success.
Did he come with that?
They were too good for him.
Oh, no, I was saying like hat. I'm sorry, tip of hat.
And the last thing is Justin Fields is starting for the Steelers.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, they say he's going to play
Officially?
again.
All right.
He played a solid game. Listen, he didn't knock anyone's socks off.
But is Wilson healthy?
He was efficient at least.
Is Wilson healthy enough to start?
That's the bigger question.
Yes.
I don't know.
I think that
I don't know if that's been fully disclosed.
Yeah.
I would guess no if they're making it this early.
I almost think he's probably. I feel like this is their
Test?
Justin Fields test game where if he plays good again, they win again. Then he's staying in. That's what I think.
That sounds like he's not 100%. He's still being monitored. So
I think but the fact that they're doing it this early and just being hey, it's Tuesday. They don't have to make this.
They don't.
This decision.
No.
Also, something we probably should talk about too. I don't know if you guys did before I came in.
No.
Jordan Mason situation.
We did not talk about that.
Is that? I mean, that's now it's. There's part of me that I feel bad for Jordan Mason. Partly
100%.
because this man, I'm sure he's grinded. He was an undrafted rookie. Has his Monday Night Football, runs for almost $150 touchdown. They win the game, and then he basically pisses it away by making the comment, "I knew I was starting Friday," which then all the fans are like, "Well, what the fuck?" Because listen, and I saw Jack Mack tweeting about it, and I thought he was making good points. I agreed with him on it.
I did too.
This league, listen, you can say what you want about the point of strategy and a win. I get all that. I totally understand that. But this league and the whole foundation, the structure is built on bettors, fantasy players. It's just for the it's
and they take money from those companies.
For the fans. It's for the fans. The fans are the ones who pay for it. If there was no fans, the league wouldn't be shit. That's just a fact.
And the NFL takes money from those organizations. They take money from these.
Listen, I understand but you gotta you can't know Friday he's not gonna play and just announce an hour before the fucking game.
Well, that's the way that's the way the NFL has the rules set up.
It's just not that's
it's not right.
Nonsense. And listen, I'm someone who had no skin in the game. If you bet McCaffrey bets, they get voided. If you had insight on this Mason shit, you could have cleaned the fuck up. Jesus Christ. 2 hours before kick, 3 hours before kick, he was probably plus 600 to score. his over rushing yards was like 19.5.
It was nice to see actually DraftKings to do everything right. They immediately avoided, like they went above and beyond. I thought like immediately.
McCaffrey stuff that gets voided ever if you're just like healthy, or assuming not healthy.
But they jumped like they had like
get scratched. Like you're just out.
They spent time having special parlays and stuff. Like I don't know, the whole thing's a mess.
And I feel bad for him because now he's like he had a little thing, almost a moment. I don't think he was getting like emotional, but he just kind of had like he was like. Fuck, man. Like,
he got a talking to.
He was like, this is why I don't talk to the media.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh, don't blame the media because
you say one.
Oh, but the 49ers need to do a better job being.
It's the Niners' fault.
Yes, forthcoming with their players.
But that's why I don't like
say the right
really
things.
loud there. That's why I don't like Mason then shitting on the media. It's not the media's fault.
I don't think he was shitting on the media. He kind of just said like
he was being honest.
He was more being honest. Like obviously he's a backup running back. It's not like he's doing a ton of media.
But don't say this is why I don't talk to the media. It's not the media's fault.
But I don't think he's.
But that's the easiest way to avoid any
kind of making fun of himself or whatever.
The media constantly twists words, and I don't think they did in this sense. He just said it. Maybe he said it poorly. Maybe he said it in not a way like he meant to say it. We definitely didn't mean to say it like that, but. I don't think he was just like bashing the media, but I also think
it sucks. The kid was trying to be honest. Yes, that's all he was trying to do. He was trying to tell the truth, and he's getting fucking lambasted for it because the NFL is fucked up. That's what it comes down to.
The team's got to fall on the sword for him.
Yeah, it's the Niners' fault.
They need to.
Let's go picks, Ev.
I'm on the Nationals money line plus money today. Gore on the mound, plus 115. I'm also on the Red Sox as well. Those are the two plays today.
Smitty.
I got the Tigers, Rockies under 8.5 in Detroit. I also have the Phillies at home against the Rays, minus 1.5 plus 130, and Taj Bradley giving up more than 2.5 runs plus 105. He has not been pitching recently, and the Phillies bats need to make a comeback.
I got a little bit of as a happiness hedge. I'm going to take Gallen. It's Gallen Day. If I win, I win some money. If they lose, the Mets pick up another game in the wild card.
All right.
Happiness hedge.
Happy Gallen Day.
Similar pick for me. My pick of the day is the Mets' first 5 innings. It's minus 120. Chris Bassett's been kind of bad, and Peterson's been great. And then I'm with you, Rico. Zach Gallen under 2.5 earned runs. It's minus 130. Same kind of thing. But it's Gallen Day, and Gallen's at home.
Yep, exactly. So that is Pick Central. Yak's up next.
George Kirby and Walkabatter, plus 150.
All right, there you go, Phil.